Genjutsu, the art of stealth and perseverance. To follow this path, one must be strong in mind, body, and spirit. Ready. But the way is treacherous. Some will succeed, some will fail. But only one will rule the school. Naruto, 1 hour premiere Saturday, September 10th at 9. No guts, no glory. Only Toonami.
Hello everybody, today is my birthday! Yay! Last time it was my birthday I covered that Bomberman game nobody asked for, the first Spyro game, the Crash Bandicoot trilogy, Evil Dead Rise, and I've made a couple of animations. And so, to celebrate this year's birthday, I'm gonna look back at one of my favorite anime franchise that isn't Dragon Ball, Naruto. People who don't know shit about Naruto won't understand me, but whatever. In 1995, Shueisha launched Karakuri, a one-shot manga by Masashi Kishimoto that gained an honorable mention in the Hopstep Award in 1996. Kishimoto wasn't satisfied with his drafts for a sequel, deciding to work on another project instead. The next project was originally going to feature Naruto as a Seth, but this version ended up being scrapped. Imagine if Naruto ended up being Seth in the actual series. He could have cooked his own darn food. Kishimoto originally wanted to make Naruto a child who could transform into a fox, so he created a one-shot of Naruto for the summer 1997 issue of Akamaru Jump based on the idea. Kishimoto wasn't proud with the art and the story, despite the positive feedback it received in the reader's poll, so he rewrote it as a story about ninjas. So it appeared on Weekly Shonen Jump along with One Piece, Dragon Ball, and The Power of Friendship, the show. Oh, and I guess we have card games. Okay, that's enough of me making fun of Yu-Gi-Oh for now. My venture wouldn't start here, however. Despite gaining a few books later down the line, the first Naruto-related thing I knew about was the original anime. Now, growing up, I only had a couple of the books in my very incomplete manga collection. And from what I've read, it's actually a really engaging read through. The art is fabulous, the stories are engaging, it's an all-around amazing manga series, and I'm actually quite sad that the one aspect that's usually ignored the most or the mangas. So check them out. You're missing out if you haven't. But like I said earlier, I more so grew up with the anime than the manga. So why don't we talk about the anime? 12 years ago, we see a giant beast, also known as the Nine Tails, who's attacking the Konohagakure village of Sinnoh. After the deaths of many Hokage, the fourth one, who we later find out to be Naruto's dad, seals the beast within an infant boy at the cost of his own life, who we later find out is Naruto. From there, the anime follows the adventures of Naruto, in present time of course, meeting all kinds of people, from friends and allies to enemies. But honestly, I actually really like the first episode. It perfectly sets up the world. It's really down to earth, which I don't think I've seen a Naruto episode done before. And it gives character growth and development for our main character, Naruto. Strengthened by the fact that Naruto and Iruka's relationship is really fun.
Oh?
I want to try on your headband. Come on, please!
This? No way. You can only wear the leaf headband when you finally graduate from the academy and become a ninja. You've got to pass the test tomorrow.
That is so uncool!
Hey, is that why you took off your goggles?
I want another bowl!
However, the next couple of episodes are not like this. They are filler, which normally I don't mind, except one. Why are there so many in a row? And two, these showcase one of the worst things about the original Naruto anime that actually makes it hard for me to rewatch the humor.
You know, Inari, it's alright to cry if you want. There's nothing wrong with that.
Anyway, if there's nothing wrong with it, then why don't you go on and cry?
No! You first! Forget it!
Boys can be so pathetic.
Which is so weird because at its best, it's when it is progressing its story and focusing on the characters, like the fights of Naruto versus Sasuke, a tale of friendship and tragedy, as Sasuke is being converted to the dark side by Itachi, but Naruto desperately not wanting to see his friend swallowed up by his... You see, that's the anime's strong point, and if it focused on more stuff like that, I would enjoy it even more. But no, instead you have to skip through the filler to get to the gold, and if a TV show makes me do that, I'm sorry, you lost me. I shouldn't be doing that in the first place. Now 5 years after the original Naruto came, Naruto Shippuden, a sequel series of the original 2002. Will I enjoy it a lot more than the original? Yes! The anime takes place years later, to the point that Naruto and friends are now teenagers. I am scared of the amount of Naruto pedophiles that are likely to exist. It changes up the animation style to be better than before. It ups up the story to be a lot better, and while it has twice as much filler, at least there isn't as much awful attempts at humor. They're still there, but it's a lot less. I actually find a lot more entertainment out of this one than the original Naruto. And for me, that's one hell of an accomplishment.
after this came a spin-off that not a lot of people talked about. It is Rock Lee and his ninja pals. Now, I'll be frank with you. Was Rock Lee really that big of a character? I mean, I've heard people talk more about the others than Rock Lee. Not to say he's bad or anything, but who asked for this?
But essentially, what we have here is a more comedic take of the Naruto franchise, which just so happens to have Rock Lee as the main character. Now, the first thing to note is the chibi style, which honestly isn't too bad. So it may stick out like a sore thumb at first, but after a while, with how this kind of show is, it will grow on you and you will get used to it. But what about the humor? Well, you've heard me complain about the fact that the prior shows haven't been successful at being funny. And that's one of the reasons I was worried to revisit this one, just to see them fumble again at humor. But did it actually end up being funny? Well, kind of. Well, you see, it got just a little bit more laughs out of me, but it's just a little. Otherwise, yeah, it's just like the other ones, which is failing. With that being said, though, I actually say it's a decent watch. It's like its own small, charming little bowl to watch in between Naruto episodes, and even Naruto Shippuden episodes. But it isn't really much more than that. While I never grew up with the movies per se, I ended up playing quite a few Naruto games. So let's start off with Naruto Shippuden Dragon Blade Chronicles. You get to move around freely in a 3D-like environment where you beat up goons of enemies. But it definitely isn't polished with the forced janky motion controls and the even jankier animations. The story also makes barely any sense. I mean, what does dragons have to do with Naruto? Is that more of a Dragon Ball thing? And also, the game felt very repetitive, having you do the same thing over and over and over with some annoying enemies that sometimes you have to jump to kill. There might be a reason why I could never beat this one even back then. So no, so far we are not off to a great start for video games, as you can skip this one. The next game to talk about would be Naruto Powerful Shippuden for the 3DS. It's a 2D beat 'em up based on the not often talked about spin-off, which lets you play as both Naruto and Rock Lee. You've got loads of attacks and special moves that you can use on the loads and loads of enemies. Although sometimes the animation is a little too slow, which leads to the stiff feeling of the game. Just like the spin-off it's based on, there's also a lot of comedy, and it's just like the show. But my biggest problem is the fact that it all feels repetitive and too samey. Even as Naruto, even as Rock Lee, all you do is beat up a bunch of enemies and then you might get a boss here and there, but you just beat up a bunch of enemies. And not only does that get repetitive, but that also gets boring. Honestly, I say give it a few minutes before dropping it. So normally after playing a repetitive game that repeats on and over again, you'd want to switch over to something else. Here comes Naruto Shippuden 3D, the new team. This time what we have here is actually a 2.5D platformer. Yeah, in the same style as Klonoa, which I was quite surprised by. It also has elements of beat-em-ups, just like the previous 3DS game. Now between the two, I definitely say that this one is better since it has a little bit more variety rather than just beating up the same type of enemies in the visually bland level over and over and over again. But still, there's honestly something that's a little bit off about how the 3D models stick out from where they are, almost like if they're green screen. That's a minor thing though, so I'd say that between the two, this is the one to check out. The next games I'll be talking about are the Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm games. These are essentially like if you combined Naruto and Tekken, and I mean that as a good thing. They can be very fun, they control very well. You have a ton of moves to do, so you're not just stuck to one move. And the cel-shaded graphics really help make it look like the anime. Plus, you even got a story mode for when you're bored. So there's plenty of things to do, with or without friends. Sure, I wish the games weren't so block happy and spam happy in general, but that just might be me. So, since I don't have all of the Ultimate Ninja games, I'd say the ones to go with are Ultimate Ninja Storm Generations and Ultimate Ninja Storm 3. It's between those two since those are my favorite. Now the last game I'm going to be talking about is Naruto, the Broken Bond. This game is essentially a sequel to the previous entry, Naruto, Rise of a Ninja. While I didn't play that game, I did play the sequel, Naruto, the Broken Bond. These games were developed by Ubisoft. Yeah, you heard me, the same Ubisoft that made Rayman and Assassin's Creed. The game was based on the episodes 81 to 135, where it covers Sasuke's falling out arc at the Tsunade's Surge. The game is open world, much like its previous game. You can traverse to different villages. It has a wide exploration for collectibles, and you can even switch to other characters while exploring. The combat feels amazing. The combat in Rise of a Ninja has a side-scrolling combat view, much like Tekken and Street Fighter. Though, what's cool about both of them is that you have to move your analog stick in a pattern of different directions to defeat your opponent in many ways. You can do this with each character using your chakra. Once you've input them, you have time to time it correctly, so that the circle reaches a certain point. As usual, you have to be careful not to use too much of your chakra. I actually really like this game overall. There are side missions to the game, and those can be fun too. Alright, so there's only one last thing to talk about. I didn't grow up with it, but we all know what it is. I know it, you know it, everybody knows it. That's right. It's Boruto.
Dear God, no!
Okay, so first of all, I gotta ask, was it really necessary to have this after the perfect ending of Naruto Shippuden? Was it really necessary? The first thing to note is the fact that Boruto is such an unlikable character. I mean, yeah, Naruto was just a little bit unlikable in the first Naruto, but it wasn't overboard like Boruto is. There wasn't a character I wanted to desperately punch in the face as much as Boruto. He's also not the one doing the fighting. His friends are. There's also the fact that Boruto just doesn't have a clear motivation. With Naruto it was obvious, but with Boruto it could literally be anything. And for some reason the villains are not only stronger, like very very strong, more so than what you see in the beginning, but for some reason they let the heroes go. Yes, sometimes for no reason they just let them go. And then the new characters aren't really as engaging as the old ones, which is really bad when you want the new ones to be the main focus point. My recommendation, don't watch this whatsoever. Don't even try it for fun. Just avoid it like the plague. Whew, that was a lot for me. But hey, if you made it this far, thank you for watching, and it's been an amazing couple of years, and I hope I continue to entertain you for the upcoming years to come. Birthday boy out.